What a show we've got lined up for you today. Really looking forward to. So much to get through, so much to preview, so much to review. But in a week where poetry has played a significant part in the beautiful game, there was a Geordie presenter called Pete who promotes his show with a post and a tweet. There are plenty of guests and Kev always enthralls. So a very warm welcome to Hollywood Balls. Super Kevin Campbell and gorgeous George TFA are in the house, and we've got a bumper weekend of football to get stuck into. Barry and the Dub Pistols are on the tour bus, and we will be checking in with them later in the show. Speaking of tours, Kev, we've got to tell everyone, we'll give them a bit of a hint, can't we? To stay tuned this week because we've got some big news, because Hollywood Balls are hitting the road for the next 3 months with our huge new show partner. We're going to be out and about around the UAE and, of course, around the globe. So looking forward to that. George, a massive welcome to you. You're first up. Spurs. I wanted to chat about Spurs and their newfound, shall we say, they've got a bit about them now, haven't they, after the Battle of the Bridge?
Yeah, listen, it's interesting. I think Conte's now had some time. It's his first pre-season, and he's, transferring to the players a better mentality, a tougher mentality. He's a bad loser, and he's kind of, he's kind of making sure the players that. I read a stat last night or the night before that Spurs now have the tallest squad in the Premier League.
Really?
Yeah, the Athletic published that. Now, you see all these signs, and it points to something. Like the game at Chelsea were outstanding. They should have won. It's all about staying in the game. Spurs did, and they nicked it at the end. It's almost very un-Spursy like, So
Hey, George, the rant show's tomorrow. Don't get me started on that.
Yes, good timing that, Kev, by the way, because listen, so we've been saying all through the week, we've got a new show tomorrow, which we're really, really looking forward to. It's going to be a chance to get stuff off your chest, really. So Hollywood Balls, Rant and Rave starts tomorrow, 11 a.m. UK, 11 a.m. Nigeria, 2 p.m. UAE as well. But also with the added bonus that we dropped into George's TFA community today, and we dropped this in. It's the Hollywood Balls Player of the Month. And of course, on this panel are going to be a voting panel, and it's going to be your chance to win 25,000 TFC, which is quite a bit of TFC to go. On that voting panel are going to be George himself. He doesn't know it yet. I've just volunteered for him, and Super Kev as well. So what you have to do tomorrow is you do have to join us tomorrow. Sign up onto the, if I can get the right one, it would help. Sign up on live.hollywoodballs.live tomorrow. Rant and Rave will be on. We'll be ranting and raving about whatever goes wrong this weekend. Sign up, and then you're in with a chance to win 25,000 TFC for the Player of the Month. The Hollywood Balls decided Player of the Month as well.
If you did it last week, you need a Rant and Rave show just for the Spurs-Chelsea game.
You would, and that's the beauty of the show. Kev said to me last week in our planning meeting, look, this is going to be massive because we'll probably be on all day. So we literally have 1 hour, but it starts tomorrow, 11 a.m. UK and Nigeria. We look forward to welcoming everyone. Kev, Super Kevin Campbell, some positive murmurs doing the rounds at the Emirates. And I was just saying to you before we started, a win today would be the first time in 18 years Arsenal have won their opening 3. And they went 49 games unbeaten that season. Good times around Arsenal at the minute.
Yeah, there's a feel-good factor around the club, I've got to say. Look, after last season, the first 3 last season was the worst start.
Yeah, so, absolutely, yeah.
Wouldn't it be such a great turnaround for us, obviously, to win the first 3 games. Going to be a tough game at Bournemouth because you know what Bournemouth could bring. Home crowd, very close to the pitch. They're very vociferous. But I can't see past Arsenal getting the business done. Jesus, obviously, he walks on the water and turns it into wine. All that type of stuff. He's been incredible for Arsenal, and I think it's going to be a really good season ahead. Really good.
It's already shaping up. I mean, George, you've said it. I mean, Spurs look different. Arsenal look the real deal. We'll get on to the other members of the top 6 in a bit. But you said last week or the week before, George, yourself, that Arsenal are a team that worry you.
Yeah, listen. The one observation you have to make about Arsenal is that all the new players they have, for example, you could classify Saliba as a new player. He was on loan, but it's his first season in the team. They look like they've been playing there in the squad, in the team for 2 or 3 seasons, right? There's no bedding in. Jesus has hit the ground running. Saliba's been outstanding, and they're playing good football. And there's rhythm. There's no, everybody knows their job, and they're playing really well. And I think they're up for a very good season. As difficult as it is for me to say that. But they really are, and it's very impressive. You have to say, very impressive. I think this, and we mentioned that the owners have backed Arteta. I think it could pay dividends. I absolutely do. Yeah.
It's really funny, Kev. I was talking with some Arsenal fans this week, and it just goes to show you'll know it yourself, having been in the game at the highest level. When you watch something, and for us fans, like behind the scenes, like All or Nothing at Arsenal, it really does it tips everything on its head. Now, if you told me before I'd started to watch that about Granit Xhaka, I'd go, yeah, he gets carded every time. He's a liability. And then you watch him during this series, and my word, Kev, does he really gets it. He understands it. Great family unit at home, loves the Arsenal, and it's pure passion. And there's bits where he gets teased from his teammates, and he says, hey, listen, if you lot were doing your job in front of me, I wouldn't have to be getting cards. And I thought,
he's giving them some back, isn't he? He comes across, you could see he comes across as a leader. He does come across as a leader type in the dressing room. He's obviously well respected within the group. But, that little bit of banter where he's saying, I'll take it all for you. You just go and mess about. Don't do your job and I'll take it. That's what leaders do. And we know there ain't a lot of them around. So, look, he's had some tough times at Arsenal, and there's some things that he does that rub the crowd up the wrong way. But looking behind the curtain, I think it's gonna make Arsenal fans think twice. I think when they actually judge him, because he is very committed to what's going on at Arsenal.
Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, I got so many people flying through the gates it's so great to have everyone back. Ferramani, Rambia's here, Moses, Fowler's in as well. Ben, I've got to say hi quick, Ben. He says South Shields win today. They're away to Marine. Now, I've got to give a special mention to Ben because he started his new job with South Shields FC this week. So congratulations to him. He's working with Glenn and all the boys. So we wish the Mariners all the very best. And of course, Ben, because he's on board with them now. Fantastic news all around. Moses is here. Julie's in the house as well. Okay, Kev, arguably the tie of the day. And I say arguably because last week I got hammered when I say it's definitely the game of the weekend. And people go, no, it's not. So arguably the game of the weekend will happen at St. James's Park tomorrow. Newcastle against Manchester City. And what I would say, whilst no Geordie beyond their wildest dreams may look at 3 points, it's a real opportunity, Kev, for them to test themselves probably against one of the finest sides in the world at the minute.
Well, you call the best teams the best, don't you? And Man City, the way they've started the Premier League, they're the best team at the minute. I think it's a great game for Newcastle, especially at home. Full house, and you're playing against the champions. Does it get any better, Pete?
No.
All of a sudden, you've got new bodies in. Your team look all right. You didn't have a great game last week, but away from home, this is what happens sometimes. You take a point away on your travels, but you got to win your home games. Now, I tell you what, Pete, if Newcastle could get amongst Man City and get a victory, what a shot in the arm that will be for everybody connected with Newcastle Football Club. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But if Newcastle got a chance to win, it's at home.
Yeah. I think it is the game of the weekend. I think it's going to be an incredible atmosphere. Newcastle have made some excellent signings. They've been very smart how they got about their business. I think this game is all about the first goal. If the Geordies get that first goal,
rocking.
The roof will come off. Yeah.
You never know what could happen, right? I think it could be a really good game. I mean, City are outstanding again, you know. It's laughable how people were writing off Haaland after the first game, and even Nunes at Liverpool. I mean, football is so fickle sometimes. But I think the Geordies, it's going to be a great game. And if they get that first goal, oh boy.
Interestingly, Kev, I wanted to pick up on it because I watched that George last weekend and said the same thing, that whilst 100% correct, Newcastle were really not at the races last weekend. No disrespect to Brighton, who are, by the way, what a super side they are under Potter. But Newcastle, in areas of attack and midfield, weren't at the races. But what was pleasing for us Toon fans was under the previous regime, that would have been a 3 or 4-0 defeat, no doubt. But they dug in with Nick Pope, and they kept a valuable clean sheet against a very good side.
Pete, let me tell you something. When you're not at the races, being able to pick points up is key. And the best teams do that. And Newcastle are moving up into that echelon. Listen, Newcastle have got ambitions of getting into Europe. So if that's what your ambition is, you've got to go away to Brighton. Is a tough place to go, Pete. You know that.
Yeah.
George knows that. It's a tough place. You go there, you nullify them. Fair enough. Offensively, you're not at the races, but you keep them to 0 and you take a point away and you're not played well. I think that's a good result.
And I tell you, listen, we talk about all these wonderful signings, all our clubs, all the clubs make, right? And we talk about the Casemiro's going to Man United, and we talk about Jesus, so we talk about all kinds of. I could vouch, I could back this up a million way from Sundays. There is not a better signing this season than Pope in goal for Newcastle. Pope is an outstanding goalkeeper. He was great for Burnley, underrated. But he'll get into the limelight now. And he was fantastic last week against Brighton. Arguably man of the match. It starts from the back, right? When you're not playing well, don't lose. Get a point, right? Put something in the bag. That's what happened last week. And I think Pope is instrumental to a Newcastle that are going places. There's no doubt. No doubt.
Let's hope so. So many people flying in. Got to say my highs. Thomason's in the house once more. Good to have you with us. Michael's here as well. Rambia says, "What's happening to Man United? Will they get relegated? Hopefully, we'll come on to them." Got to say hi to Ivan, who is Inter Milan, Italian boy. He's tuned in for the first time. Welcome along, Ivan. Good to have you with us. Okay, George. Just going back to that Man City side, though, someone that we haven't really mentioned. They look even scarier, don't they, if that's possible, with Haaland, who, forget just his presence and goals, but the speed. He's like lightning, isn't he?
Yeah. For a very big player, for a physically big player, he's deceptively fast, right? People don't expect that. When he beat the West Ham goalie to it and got the penalty last week, he's fast. He was fast. He's an all-round player. He's a top player, still young. He's got so many great years ahead of him. And it was a great acquisition by Man City. Great player. Yeah. And, makes the Premier League, the Premier League seems to attract the best players in the world, by and large, Haaland, Nunes. It's just incredible. But he is fabulous. He has every attribute that you would want in a centre forward, in a number 9. He's great for the team. He's uplifting for the fans. He's got a great physical presence, and he's a great goal scorer. Yeah, You know, with City.
So let's hope he has a couple of dodgy pies tonight for his pre-match meal ahead of tomorrow.
Pete, let me tell you one thing you got to worry about. Bournemouth obviously done their homework and they stopped him, and they still got done for. So there's other players there you've got to account for as well. You know, that's the problem. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. James Graham's in the house, Liverpool's #1 fan. I already messaged him this morning and told him that that's all over. City have won the league. The stream of abuse I got back from him on the WhatsApp, this is a family show, so I won't be able to repeat it. Staying with Merseyside, Kev. Intriguing game at Goodison. Lampard's going to be hoping better against a newly promoted team who literally are just throwing money at it, aren't they? Let's be right about it. But, I mean, will Frank say today, we've got to get a result at Goodison?
Of course. Your home games, Pete, are key. Listen, the first home game was against Chelsea. I thought Everton performed pretty well.
Yeah.
Made a mistake and got done with the penalty, but I thought it could have been a draw, that game. Obviously went away to Villa last week, lost by the odd goal, nearly pulled it back. Everton are lacking a striker. They are. Yeah. I think Rondon's got to play today to give them a focal point to hit. But Pete, you say Nottingham Forest are chucking money at it, but they're chucking money at it the right way. If you look at the bodies that they've brought in some really good players.
So, Kev, is Morgan Gibbs then? Is that the going rate then for a midfielder who, let's be really truthful, has just come to prominence and they're shelling out 42.5 million for him? I mean,
no, it is, Pete. But listen, at the end of the day, Pete, Wolves, you couldn't get him for any less. Wolves set the price. Okay. It's either you want him or you don't. If you want him, you've got to pay the money. So
I mean,
they paid the money.
Listen, he's a very good player, but it seems like the Premier League, the bar has changed. Now, what was just a few seasons ago a £10 million player is now almost a 40 or a £50 million player. Yeah. You know, and you wonder how sustainable that is for the game. It's all about the economics, I guess. And there are more TV right. There's more TV right money coming down. TV rights money coming down the pike. It's crazy. It's crazy. He's a good player.
George, I'll tell you this. When you look at what Arsenal have done, you look at what Newcastle have done. When people have been pricing players out, they've said, not for me.
Yeah.
And that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
I think because Steve Cook, who's done a fantastic job at Nottingham Forest, because he's worked with him before and knows him, he wants him in. He could see him fitting in with what he wants to do. So if you have to pay over the odds,
listen,
they've decided to do that.
Yeah, well, look, we've spoken about Cooper before. He's a great manager. Nottingham Forest, world famous club, but it just shows you how correctly desperate they are to stay in the Premier League. You know, you want to stay in the Premier League. Their number one focus is to stay in the Premier League this season. If they do that, consolidate and build on that, because if you become a Premier League club on a regular basis, the opportunities that open themselves up for the club are immense, right? You know, the finances are huge, obviously, but if you get that year in, year out, and you improve the squad, you improve the team, you improve your positions, you get a cup run, you know, it's great. So, I mean, the fans at Nottingham Forest now are so excited, and I'm thrilled for them, and I hope they stay up. But
great atmosphere there as well. Great atmosphere.
You know, it's a great club. It's a great club with tremendous history. And I wish them nothing but the best, I must say. It's very exciting. Is it 14 or 15 players they bought now?
15, and 15. I think there's a new bus on order. Okay, got to say hi to Smooth Reviews, who says, "Come on, you Spurs! Nice to have him in." Raymond's here as well as Moses. Good to have him. Donald is here. Donald, I'm going to pull this one up because it's about half an hour since anyone's talked about Ronaldo or Man United, so we'll give them a whirl. It delights me in saying the Premier League's basement club. If United get Gakpo and Anthony, there's going to be a big change in the style of play. Casemiro is outstanding. Good points from Donald, Kev.
Good points, but that's not necessarily going to change the style of play. I think the level of player, might help. But I still think United have got good players. I think there's something fundamentally wrong here and on the left side in the heart because, getting dominated at home by Brighton is one thing. And then going to Brentford and being 4-0 down in the first half, that's not about ability. That's about heart. So they need to address that.
Yeah,
can I ask George then? George, can I ask you about that, staying with that? Do you agree with Souness when he says that, everyone's lambasting these players currently? He said no one stood up there and said Ten Hag needs to hold his hands up for the first 2 games. It's his lineup, his decisions when they go over the white line at 5-3. Do you agree with that?
It's very early days for Ten Hag. It's a nightmare job because, when you have such poor planning as a club over a number of years, the club needs to be restructured from the ground up, right? That's a big job. Yep. So Ten Hag has got a difficult job. I think people are avoiding honesty, to be honest, if I can. I think people have to be honest. And I think one factor that's a negative for the club is Ronaldo doesn't want to be there, right? Cristiano doesn't want to be there. It's as obvious as day, clear as day to me. I would, as a United fan, I'm not, but if I were, I would want United to cancel his contract and move on because his body language, he's 37, he wants to be in the Champions League. He's not getting that this year at Man U, and it's just a negative impact on the whole club, in my opinion. Right?
Okay.
That's what I would do. I think if they did that, that would help reduce the egos, and Ten Hag could have a better chance of more success. I think Casemiro will be a very good buy. It's an expensive one for a 30-year-old or whatever he is. But it's not an issue of talent, as Kevin says. It's an issue of application, focus, all the things you need to have a chance in the Premier League, right? Okay. If you don't apply yourself, all the talent in the world won't do it.
Absolutely. Listen, if you've got something you want to get off your chest, join us tomorrow for Rant and Rave, the first of a new series. Sort of opened myself up to this. I think we're going to be on all day. It starts at 11 a.m. UK. That's 2 p.m. UAE, United Arab Emirates. We'll be on there. And what you need to do is sign up at live.hollywoodballs.live. Come on and tell us. It could be something that happens today. Invariably, it'll involve a referee or a VAR. So just join us tomorrow and let's just see how it goes, Kev. All we're going to do is open the doors, open the phone lines and say, come and join us live.
Let them through. Let them in. let them loose.
Let them loose. And join us tomorrow, the original angry man from the northeast of England, Geordie Glenn, is going to join and guest co-host because I don't think I'll ever see him crack a smile on a Sunday. So he's perfect for Rant and Rave. Okay, Kev. Apart from conjuring up visions of helicopters, what does Leeds and Chelsea offer us this weekend?
Oh, well, I heard a few of the helicopters already, mate. I tell you, this is white hot. This is spicy. There's no love lost between the two clubs, and you know what? We got to give Jesse Marr some love. I think he's done a decent job. What have they got? 4 points from 2 games. They won the first one. They from a winning position, Southampton pegged them back, which can happen away from home sometimes. But I think he's doing a good job. Chelsea have started all right. They won the first game, drew the second. And, they've got designs of pushing up the table as well. So I think it's going to be a hell of a game, tough game. And you know what? The fans are going to be right up for this one because now Leeds fancy themselves to turn Chelsea over.
I've got one for you, George. So in the summer, we spoke with Jimmy Conrad, the US legend, played so many times for his country. What a fantastic guy. Supports Newcastle United as well, interestingly enough. But Jimmy was saying he's very good friends with Jesse March, who he played with in the MLS. And he thought it very unfair that the English press, they do this thing that they compare all American managers to Ted Lasso. And apparently Jesse took great umbrage at that, because it is obviously, if you don't know, Ted Lasso is some sort of fantasy TV program. What I said to Jimmy was this, that Jesse March kept the Leeds United team up, and let's be right about it, that were hurtling towards relegation, 6 and 5 goals every game. He did that, and he had a hell of a void to fill in the fact that those fans just adore Bielsa. So I think that's a mark of his character. Do you?
Yeah, he's a strong man. He's his own man, and I respect that. He has his own ideas. He inherited a situation that was very difficult, as you say. Bielsa is a hero for Leeds fans. Leeds were, they were in a tailspin. He saved them. He kept their Premier League status. Just for that, he needs to be recognised and rewarded. I think he's far better than people think. I do think in the Premier League and in Europe, there is almost some kind of Americanism whereby we don't recognise American coaches and some American players. I think it's harder for them, right? Because they're American. They didn't invent the game. I think there's some of that. I think Jesse's a very good manager. He knows what he wants. He speaks well. It's going to be a cracking game. Leeds Chelsea.
I just think of the 70s when I hear that, though. Mud, Harris.
I was exactly say back in the 70s. If they played like they did in the 70s, there'll be 12 red cards in today's game.
Got to say a big hi to Tony Manuel, our resident Geordie in the Philippines. He says, see, Vardy signed a new contract at Leicester. I hope it's a bumper one, given what he's been doing this summer. Good luck to Leicester City. Again, Kev, a Leicester City where the more I see poor Brendan Rodgers, it's just coming from all angles at him, isn't it? And the problem with that is that the results aren't helping either.
Hey, look, I thought Leicester performed quite well at Arsenal last week. They've still got quality players, Pete. That's one thing they've got. Brendan Rodgers knows how to put a team out, knows how to set them up, and knows how to adjust. But there's something fundamentally not right in that squad at the moment. There's players who want to leave. There's players running their contracts down, and they haven't brought anybody in the building. So that's a problem. When you bring somebody in the building, it actually lifts everybody else's level, knowing what player he's coming in. When you don't bring anybody else, it's kind of monotonous. So, it's going to be interesting. They need 3 points, Pete. That's what they need. They need 3 points to just calm everything down.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see in Brendan Rodgers' interviews, you can see he's struggling. He's down.
Absolutely, isn't he?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation.
Asking if players are leaving, George, and he's like, when a manager says, "Don't ask me," I have no idea. So I think this must be the height of frustration for him.
I think a big dynamic for this is financial fair play, whatever that means nowadays. But according to many sources, Leicester have gone over the top historically, and now they have to raise money before they buy another player. So, and they want to keep Fofana, of course. They want to keep Maddison. They're the two best players. It's a challenge.
Let's see. Smooth Reviews is a Theobald's Grove station, and the platform is all Spurs and one brave Wolves supporter. Love the game. Give him some love, Smooth Reviews. Give the Wolves fans some love, and now hopefully karma will return 3 points to Tottenham, or not so much in Kev's case. Anyway, listen, George, I wanted to stay with you. Ahead of the women's season starting on September the 7th, I've got some stats for you. Brighton, Chelsea, Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester City, Spurs and West Ham have all reported sizable increases in season ticket sales. Promoted Liverpool said they had experienced a 254% increase in tickets. And City, for whom England's Wembley match winner, if you remember, Chloe Kelly, plays, said that their figure had effectively doubled and was at record level. Absolutely fantastic stuff, right?
Brilliant. It's fabulous. It's wonderful to see. It's not surprising given what happened just a few weeks ago with the Lionesses winning it, bringing it home. It's great for the game, and it's enjoyable. And it's going to be harder, and it's going to get more difficult to get tickets for these games, right? It's
good stuff, though, right?
Yeah, it's fun, and it's a great game. It's very entertaining. It's very engaging, and we touched on this a few times last season, Pete. And Kev. It's just fabulous. It's wonderful for the game, and it's wonderful for the whole. You know, it's good for the cause, right? We talk about equality, and that's the right thing, but it puts women correctly on an equal pedestal to the men's game, right?
Right.
The appeal is second to none, and it is thrilling. And you can see the signings. The women's clubs are buying players left, right, and centre, right?
Going mad. And in the Northeast, I have to say, big hi to all of Wallsend Boys Club, who have, of course, their own girls and ladies club. They're queuing around the corner for trials to be part of the Wallsend girls. That's Carl, so I've got to say hi to Carl Walsh. Okay, speaking of probably the hardest working individual known to Hollywood Balls, who's on the road as we speak. Hopefully, he's with us. Barry Ashworth on the road. How are you, mate?
Good morning, chaps. How are you?
Hi, Baz. How you doing?
Super, Kev. You well?
I'm well, thanks, mate. Really good.
Good to see the seatbelt on. So let's get business out the way first. Where are you off to, or where are you coming back from?
Where am I off to? This morning, I am on my way to Cornwall, just a short drive from London down to Perranporth. We're playing at the Watering Hole tonight, and then tomorrow we are up in Shropshire playing Camp Festival, brand new Camp Festival.
And all of this is a crescendo building up to September in a couple of weeks' time. Your own festival does that sort of signify the end of festival season? Is this the crescendo of festivals for you boys?
Yeah, I mean, I deliberately chose it because it is that end of season one, and it also means that everybody, everyone from the whole of the industry, because everybody's working so hard throughout the whole of the summer, means that all my friends are basically involved in the whole of the industry, so they've got no excuses for not being able to turn up at Mucky Weekender, because I know they're not working because it's all over.
Brilliant stuff. We've been following it. We're lucky. Go on, Barry.
Super Kev's got a set, he's a demon behind the decks.
I believe so.
I'm a DJ. But hey, listen, I've looked at the paraphernalia. I'm not on anything, Baz. Thank you very much.
No, Kev, you are. I just had to keep, it's like I can't reveal the headline. You're the you're the special guest. I did. There's only so many tickets I can sell, Kev. And as soon as I love it. That deal.
I love that, Baz. Love it.
Listen, Barry,
Kevin, with his playing days, was regularly spotted down the Ministry of Sound, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I was down there a couple of times. But... well,
this is why we limit him, Kev. Right. This is why we limit him on the bus. He's now, he's banned from the studio. He's only on the bus. Listen, Barry, all joking aside, the hard work, because for all the Dub Pistol fans that have been following it, it's literally weekend after weekend, right? And 2 and 3 gigs a weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brutal. I'm not going to lie. I moaned during lockdown, but I'm moaning equally now. My knees are going. It's like I'm doing 90 minutes 3, 4, 5 times a week, and it's like, at 57, the body's starting to feel it.
Which brings me nicely in, and because I would say you're probably the most vociferous moaner on Twitter of Liverpool FC. You must be raging at the minute then.
Do you know what? I know I moan. I know I moan. I just have a meltdown. Do you know what I mean? I have a meltdown during the match. I can't lie. But to be honest, I cut the Fulham game. I fully expected that to happen, to believe it or not. I know, hindsight and everything. But we never really do well in the capital anyway. I knew that the team coming up, I just knew before the game that was possibly what was going to happen. Same thing happened at Brentford the year before. And the Palace game, I thought we played for 80 minutes. I thought we were absolutely brilliant. Yes, Palace had a fantastic game plan and they absolutely nailed it. What a goal by Saha. That was a piece of brilliance. Nunes lost his head. He was having a stinker anyway. He was having a proper stinker. I think the occasion got to him. And hopefully it's been massive.
Just lost him, I think.
Wake up
all game. And, they literally they knew exactly what they were doing with him. And he if you're gonna act like Suarez, you better play like Suarez.
Okay,
You know
listen,
what I
Barry.
mean?
Monday night ahead of Manchester United, which is always it's practically a derby game, isn't it? I mean, is it dangerous going there now, given the fact that everyone said, "Oh, Man United, they got beat at home off Brighton, they got slaughtered off Brentford"? Is it the wrong time to be going there as Liverpool?
Listen, I think any time Liverpool go to Man United, it's never a good time. And listen, they're having a stinker from every level. They've been having a stinker for a few years now, but oh my dizzy days, the wheels have come completely off. The club is an absolute shambles from top to bottom. We should go there and we should be able to pick up 3 points, no doubt, especially off the fact that we haven't done well in our first two games, But it's Man United at home, and if they've got a sense of pride,
they'll be up for it.
To them, then they've got to be up for it. I still think we got too much for them. I think Bobby's back, which is great. I mean, we're ravaged by injury, but for me, Harvey Elliott Monday night was absolutely outstanding.
Outstanding.
And I've got a feeling, and I've moaned like you would imagine I moan on Twitter. Every Liverpool supporter knew we needed a midfield. We needed a creative midfielder. Thiago, absolutely unbelievable when he's fit, but you can't keep the guy fit. So we needed someone in there. Every Liverpool supporter knew it. Unfortunately, it's come back to haunt us. But I'm hoping Carvalho and Elliott are going to step up to the plate, and this is going to give those boys a chance and a run in the team that they need at that age to actually really come forward. So there you go. That's me.
Also, Barry, as well, don't forget, I have to say, big friend of the show, big friend of our family, Lee Clark's son, Bobby Clark, was on the bench for the Crystal Palace game for Liverpool. So Bobby's in there as well in the mix because Klopp will play the youngsters, a la Harvey Elliott. So watch out for Bobby Clark as well. Listen, Thomason has come up with a message of the day. He says, Barry is a national treasure. On that note, I think that it's time to get what we're all here for. It's time for a bit of DK hot sauce, Premier League predictions. Last week, Danny Kwang won it, so there's no sauce going anywhere other than his own kitchen. Danny had 5 points, Kevin, and you and I finished second. So thanks to everyone in the mix today. We've got Samantha, Andrew, Ben, Lee, and Barry from Sunderland, who's currently on holiday in Tenerife or Ibiza, I think. Likewise, we've got our own Barry with us. So let's start it off. Kev, we'll start with you. Spurs against Wolves.
Listen, I've got this one a home win. I think after last week, Spurs got away with it last week, but at home, I just can't see Wolves winning. So I'm going 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 to the Spurs. Barry, what have you got for us?
I'm with Kev on that one. I can't see past Spurs. I thought they made some fantastic signings this year. Yes, they weren't very good against Chelsea. I think 2-0 Spurs.
George, your beloved Lily Whites.
Yeah, 2-0 Spurs.
2-0 to Spurs. I've gone 3 to Spurs. Samantha's gone 2-1 to Spurs, as has Andrew Burgess, big Evertonian. Ben from South Shields has gone 3-1 to Spurs. Lee Cosgrove's in the house from Manchester. He's taken 3-1 to Tottenham. And Barry, on holiday, on the beach, probably in Lineker's bar, has taken Spurs to win 2-0. Okay, next up, Super Kev. It's Bournemouth-Arsenal.
Yeah, look, I know Bournemouth, they're at home. The crowd are going to be vociferous, but I just think Arsenal are playing too well at the moment. I've gone 3-0 Arsenal.
Okay, before we do that, I've got to read this out, Barry, before I come to you. Sorry. Smooth Review says, what do Prince Andrew, Black Eyed Peas and Man United have in common? They're all useless after Fergie left. Love that. Brilliant. Okay, Barry, what you got for us? Brentford, Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, what a signing Jesus has been, I mean, absolutely incredible. I've got a gunner sitting behind me, Shawnee T.
Shawnee!
So, yeah, Kev, you can imagine how made up he is right at this moment in time. Yeah, I can't pass Arsenal for this one. Although, full well, Bournemouth at home, they're a good side. But 2-0 Arsenal.
George?
I've gone 2-1 to the Arsenal.
2-1 to the Arsenal. Okay. I've gone 2-0 to the Arsenal. Samantha's taken 1-0 to the Arsenal, as has Andrew Burgess. 2-1 to the Gunners for Ben. Lee Cosgrove's taken 2-1 to Bournemouth, and Barry has taken 2-0 to Arsenal. Good stuff. Butterboy says, hi lads, first Palace win today. Good to have you with us. Okay, next up, and I put this on Facebook this morning, Kev. There's a special bonus point. It's Leeds against Chelsea. Give us the score and how many helicopters will be above.
3 helicopters, 1 to Leeds and 2 to Chelsea. 2-1 Chelsea away win.
Okay. Barry, the 70s classic that is Leeds against Chelsea. What have you got for us?
Can't see past Chelsea for this one, to be honest with you. 2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea. George?
I've gone, I think Leeds will score. I've gone 2-1 to Chelsea.
Ben Shields said, who's Hoddle supporting today? I'd guess even if, I'd imagine it's got to be Spurs, hasn't it? Okay, so what else have we got? I've gone 2-1 to Chelsea. Samantha's gone 1-0 to Chelsea, as has Andrew. Ben's taken 4-1 to Chelsea. 2-1 to Leeds for Lee Cosgrove, and 2-0 to Chelsea for Barry. Okay, the big game of the day. Blow the rest out the water. Super Kev, Newcastle United Football Club at home to Manchester City. What we got?
I think it's going to be pretty tight, Pete, I've got to say. But I just think Manchester City are playing too well at the moment. I think they're going to do it. I've got 2-0 City, Pete.
2-0 City. Baz, what have you got for us up at the tune? Oh, he's frozen, which is probably a good...
Oh, no, he's back.
I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose out to Kevin here. Do you know what I mean? And my heart's telling me it's City, but I will not let myself. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay, 1-1. George?
Because I need that.
I've gone Man City to win 2-0.
Okay, I've gone 1-1 as well. Can't take anything against my beloved. It will be difficult, but hopefully Newcastle will leave everything out on the pitch and make it difficult for City as well. Samantha's gone 3-1 City, as has Andrew Burgess. Ben Shields taken the 2 to win 3-2. I don't think my ticket could take that, but probably would with the points. Lee Cosgrove, Manchester United's #1 fan, has taken the 2 to win 2-1, of course. And Barry, our Barry, who is on holiday in Tenerife, season ticket holder for the Mackhams, has taken Man City to win 6-0. Okay, moving swiftly on. This is why I love this game. Moving swiftly on. Last up, Kev, absolutely. Man United, Liverpool, Kev.
Yeah, look, I know Man United are making moves in the transfer market, but Casemiro can't play and all that. I just think Man United, they're gonna mirror what Arsenal done last season. I think they're going to lose the first 3 games. I think Liverpool are going to win this pretty comfortably. They're going to win it. I've been contemplating 2-0 or 3-0, to be honest, Pete. Okay. And I'm going to go for 3-0 Liverpool.
Wow, big score. Barry Ashworth, what have you got for us? Your beloved Liver Birds.
Super Kevin Campbell. I am absolutely with him. I am with him. 3-0 Liverpool. 3-0 Liverpool. It's going to be 10-game hard. He ain't going past the 10. He ain't making it till... The only way he can make it till Christmas is if because of the World Cup. Otherwise, it'd have been well gone.
Stuff. George, what you got for us? Voice of reason, George. Come on.
I think Man U are going to turn up. I mean, if you don't turn up against Liverpool, you're never going to turn up against anybody. I think there'll be more effort, more application by Man U. I think they score... will lose. I think Liverpool will win 2-1.
Okay. What have I got? I've gone 2-0 to Liverpool, 2-1 to Liverpool for Samantha, 2-1 to Liverpool for Andrew Burgess. Ben Shield thinks it's going to be 2s apiece. He's gone for a Desmond. Lee Cosgrove's got Man United 2, Liverpool 1, and Barry has got 2-0 to Liverpool. Brilliant stuff. One to keep your eyes on. Great stuff. So, Barry, you're on the way to Cornwall. Just give a plug again. Where are you going to be tonight? Where can we see you?
Down the wonderful beach that is Perranporth Beach. It's an absolutely stunning place, and a place called the Watering Hole. We'll be just outside there. We're actually going to be arriving early, so if someone wants to come down and have a beer with us on the beach, then please feel free to do so.
Let me just jump in. I did that when you played at Barasti. I would advise anyone never to go and have a pre-beer with the Dub Pistols. It doesn't work out that well for you, and I guarantee you won't see the show, but the boys will. Give the boys to give us a cheer, Barry.
Lads, give them a cheer.
It's a bit too early. Bit too early for
ropey,
the boys.
isn't it? Bit ropey. Listen, lads, have a great gig tonight. Lots of love from us here. Barry, thanks once again for taking the time to pop in. We wish you well tonight. George, great to see you. Absolutely
good to
amazing.
see you as always.
As always, George, have a great weekend. A big smile on his face because his team are playing well. Super Kev, let's hope, fingers crossed, Arsenal can make it that magic 3 in a row, and that the Toon can pick up some kind of result as well. I think that would be the perfect weekend. As I say to you all, though, thanks again for being with us, and whoever your team is, absolutely have a brilliant weekend from all of us here at Hollywood Balls. See you next week.